Hey everyone, it's Martin. Welcome to Lucha Mass Talk, episode number 2. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite wrestlers, Mil Mascaras. And we'll talk a little bit about his beginnings and definitely get into the whole mask topic of all his different mask makers and show off some of his masks that I have. So, to start off with, I want to show you the very first mask that I got of Mil Mascaras as a kid. And it's still very dear to my heart. My parents got this for me in Mexico back in the early 70s. And I've been lucky enough to hold on to it all these years, even though it's pretty messed up now. So this is my very first mask. And now I'm going to start off by talking about his very first mask maker, which was Ranulfo Lopez. And I have here two of his masks from Casa Lopez, both made by his son Leopoldo Lopez, and also there's a grandson, which I have one by his too. Unfortunately, I don't have a Ranulfo one yet, but I got his sons and his grandsons. So here we go with the shark mask that a lot of people like, a lot of his fans. This is probably one of their favorites, besides the traditional one. So as you can see here, the stitching. This one, by the way, is a zippered mask. And it's from the 80s. I'll show you the tag. There you see the tag. So again, I've been lucky enough to obtain some of these masks over the years. They're not always that easy to come by, especially the Ranulfo ones are very hard to come by, and Leopoldo's are too. As far as the grandsons, you can still find those out there, but even those are starting to come hard to come by because he doesn't really make that many anymore, being that he's a doctor. So anyway, there's this one. And before I go and show you the next one, I'll talk a little bit about Mil. His debut in professional wrestling was back in 1965 in Guadalajara, Mexico. And then after being there for, close to 2 years, whatever, he made his debut here in LA in 1968 at the Great Olympic Auditorium, where he had tons and tons of matches. And then from there, his career just blossomed. And then he did a tour, I believe, in '71 in Japan, and from there, he wrestled for WWF and all different kinds of promotions. So, like I said, me growing up, he was my number one wrestler. I saw the movies. The movies is probably one of the biggest things that I enjoyed, besides his matches, of course. But just to know that there was a real-life superhero that not only you saw on TV and movies, but you also could go see him wrestle. So growing up as a kid, a Latino in the early 70s and stuff, he was like a big inspiration to me, growing up. While everybody else had Batman and Superman and comics, I actually had a real life hero that I could idolize, which was Mil Mascaras, and you could go see him if you were lucky enough to go see him at a wrestling show. So anyway, let's get back to the other mask that I'm going to be showing you, and this is a traditional Mil Mascaras mask with the traditional designs. I don't know how many of you already know the story behind it. This is supposedly resembles the bat, which is basically the bat that flew all around the world. The top diamonds are basically all the continents that he wrestled in. And the little heart shape is basically the love for professional wrestling that he had in him. And of course, the for Mil Mascaras. And this one right here is also Leopoldo Lopez. There you see the tag. So as you can see, these masks have been used by him. This was actually wrestled in him. It's got a few scratches in it. You can't really tell that close on video there, but a couple of scratches here and there. So it's a used mask. This one over here was also used by him, but not in a wrestling, just to use. and either some meet and greets that he might have done back in the day, but it wasn't wrestled, but it was used by him. And I also have a couple other masks from him. Here is this one that was used in Japan back in the early 70s. As you can see, it's got the Japan name right here. The volcano from, I think it's Mount Fuji over there, not sure, but I think, oh, yeah, there it is. And also, it's got another Lopez tag right there. So this right here is a very old mask too. And I'm going to show you a couple more. Now this one right here is not a Lopez mask, because a lot of you, if you don't know, that he used a lot of different mask makers over his career. The very first one, like I said, was Lopez. Then from there he ended up using Alejandro Rodriguez, which I do have one of his, and I will show it in a minute. But anyway, Alejandro Rodriguez, he also had Bucio Sr. and Marón Canales, Humberto Alcaraz, Angel Azteca, and I mean, there was quite a bit of mask makers that he's used over the years, but the biggest names as far as mask makers that he used were definitely the Lopez, Rodriguez, and Bucio. But this one right here was made by a mask maker in Japan, I believe. And I'll show you the logo on it. It's from Cacao Planning. They ended up having they worked out some kind of deal in Japan, and they would distribute his masks. And apparently these masks were actually only supposed to be sold in Japan. They weren't really supposed to be sold in the United States. But again, I was lucky enough that I got a chance to work with Mil a few times, so I was able to obtain a couple, from him when he would make his tours over there. And this one, as you can see, is also signed by him. There you can see the signature. And you can see the different kind of materials that they use in Japan compared to the materials that was used in Mexico. It's a different type of lame. Even the silver one compared to the Mexican version. So there's this one. And I have another Lopez here, which is a newer version. It's made by the grandson, the doctor. This was basically a replica of what he used back in the 70s, made by his grandfather, but this one was made by the doctor. And they all come with the trademark Lopez tag. But it's a beautiful mask, beautiful color, and just to be able to have something, from the Lopez is always great to have if you're lucky enough to obtain one. This was basically a replica from the movie Las Momias de Guanajuato that Mil came out in with Santo and Blue Demon. This was one of the few masks that he wore in that movie. He wore, I believe, quite a different ones. I believe it was like 5 different versions of masks that he wore in that movie. So one of the oldest masks that I have from Mil would be this one right here. If you can see it there. That one right there is a Rodriguez mask from the late 70s. And I'll bring it down. But Rodriguez, one of the things that I liked about Rodriguez mask, maybe that was just a little bit different from Lopez, was the way he made his M's. They were just a little bit more straighter down instead of curved out like Lopez would do. But other than that, that was really it. I mean, they were both very great mask makers. You can tell the different version of the lame from that decade, from that era, is a lot different from the lame that is used even now. And I'm going to show you one more that I have. Okay, so one of the things that I was lucky enough to do in my time was actually I got the chance to promote Mexican wrestling for close to like 10 years. And this mask right here that I'm holding here has a very special place in my heart because it was the first time that Mil actually worked for me for my promotion, and this is the actual mask that he used that night. And I was able to obtain it from him afterwards. This mask, the mask maker behind this mask is Humberto Alcaraz, who is one of my favorites because just the way his stitching and the way he just made the whole design of the mask. This right here is basically a tribute almost to back the early 70s style that Mil would wear sometimes, with the eyes being a little bit tilted out instead of straight up. But it's a very beautiful mask, and again, like I said, you can't see it, but it's signed by him and used by him in the match. And it's like a lycra, silver white lycra, very stretchy material. So this is probably one of my two top favorite masks, just because he wore it for my promotion. So I'll put this right here. So guys, I just wanted to show you and talk to you a little bit about Mil Mascaras. Growing up, like I said before, he was one of my favorite wrestlers. Just his whole unique style of wrestling in the ring, just seeing him move in the ring was totally different from other wrestlers, and that's something that always caught my eye. It's just his whole unique style of wrestling, and also the fact that he was a movie star and he made a lot of cool movies with vampires and whatnot. So I just wanted to get the opportunity to show off a little bit of these masks to all of you guys out there, all you mask collectors. And again, feel free to comment and let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I will continue to do more shows, and hopefully each show I will get a little bit better. And like I said, feel free to comment and let me know what you guys think. Also, I know last time you guys probably didn't notice it, but I also have these figures here. These figures were made by my compadre. I think they were made back in maybe 2005, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure, but around 2005. And I know he doesn't make them anymore, but he used to make a bunch of different wrestlers, and of course I was able to obtain these from him because he actually gave a few to Mil. Believe it or not, Mil Mascaras has a few of these in his home, and I've been lucky enough to actually be in Mil Mascaras' home, so I know I've seen him there. So again, they're very cool looking. One of them kind, I could say. Not that many people have them, so again, I'm blessed to have had the opportunities that I've had in this business as a promoter and as a collector, and continue to collect as many as I can when I can. So anyway, guys, don't forget to give me a comment, give me a shout out, and to subscribe, please. And I'll continue to do these videos for you, and comment, let me know which other masks you would like to see, and if I have them, I will definitely show them. If not, I got people, I have connections with people that have more stuff than even I have, so I could always bring other guest mask collectors onto the show and continue to talk about this stuff. And if there's anything, like I said, that I might have forgotten, just feel free to comment and let me know, and I'll definitely get back on it with you guys, and we'll do this again. All right, thank you again, guys.